Okay guys, so yeah, my quick thoughts on Protestant worship. As I said in this channel before guys, I grew up Protestant. I consider myself a Protestant now, but my heart is leaning heavily towards more apostolic faith, apostolic ways of apostolic Christianity. I don't know how to put it, apostolic Christianity. So I'm leaning more towards that, and especially orthodoxy. As I think a lot of young people and anyone who's seeking deeper spiritual meanings and whatnot are coming to. So, but here's my thoughts on Protestant worship. So I've been to many Protestant churches. I currently reside in a Pentecostal church. That's where my family's at. I've been to non-denominational churches. I've been to Baptist churches. Many forms of Protestant churches. And I have to say unequivocally that some Protestant music and worship is pretty good, I have to say, and I still listen to some of it now. But I think you will see a bad worship song when they talk about me, myself, and I feel this way, I do this, I feel that, and it's all about your feelings, and it's all about you, and about how God affects you, when it seems in perhaps you could say in the Catholic Mass, the Catholic hymns and Orthodox worship, it's all directed to God. When you can smell the incense and see the icons and hear a really well-trained choir, you get transported into a different world, and you become almost like illuminated by God instead of having the focus on you. Christianity isn't about you. It's about being transformed. It says in Romans, to not be conformed to the world, but to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So I can clearly see some issues with the Protestant way of worshipping. It's interesting when you look at Orthodox worship mind. I always wondered why they don't use instruments, even though we could see instruments in the Psalms. It talks about the harp and other instruments that are used. But it's an interesting one when it's heavenly, and it sounds and feels heavenly and angelic and all of those things that is otherworldly, and you struggle to describe. As often when I've come from a divine liturgy, I struggle having the words to say about it, But I don't want to repeat what I heard from Father Moses. Check his channel out. I'll put a screenshot of his channel below, but he said a video about how modern man doesn't crave Protestant worship. Modern man needs silence. And this is why I come out my bike, and I come to, I go for a bike ride. Obviously I'm in the gym, and then come for a bike ride, just not only for my physical health, but to soak up, just the fresh air and the green that's around me. And he said it's interesting, a man doesn't find, true prayer and worship and connection to God in a rock concert type worship style. And that's not me being insulting, because there's a lot of faithful people that are in these types of churches, and good on them. It suits them. But he said how I could almost laugh, because I could relate so much to types of churches that I've been in, and it almost feels like a rock concert, and you just have this so much noise and pressure on your head that you can't even think, let alone pray. So being at the Divine Liturgy and just perhaps and not having to do anything, just sitting there and listening and seeing and smelling, your mind and your heart can be connected more towards prayer. But he was also talking about how a man does not find God in a rock concert type place, but when he goes up to the mountains, when he goes to the woods, when he goes out in nature and doesn't have any distractions, and goes out without his headphones on. It's just this today, after hearing that, I just haven't put my headphones in, and I feel a lot better for it, to be honest, because in this world we have such an influx of information, and that's how we become overwhelmed and stressed. We need to de-stress, we need to decompress. I don't think we were made to handle as much information that we do get from the media, from, you know, everything from our phones. So it's about, there's a farm over there. There's a few noises coming from there. So I think that's true anyways, guys. Let me know what you thought about this video, if you guys feel the same way. And I'll catch you on the flip side. God bless.